Hello everyone, welcome to Chess Codes. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we are going to look at an interesting chess position. So let's get started. So this is the current position where white is a pawn up and the pawn on g7 is the key pawn for white. It's white to move. So what could be the best possible sequence of moves for white which can give white a decisive advantage? You can pause the video and think of a possible solution and mention your answers in the comments below. Would love to see them. Now let's get to the solution. If you see, if there is no pawn on g7, then this position would be a draw. Suppose here white plays king to g6. Black cannot move his king as f8 and h8 squares are controlled by the pawn, while the f7 and h7 squares are controlled by the king. So black has to move the a7 pawn. He can either go a6 or a5. Suppose he goes a5 over here. White can play king f6. Black goes a4. White gives up the pawn on g7 and goes king to e5. Black takes the pawn on g7. White goes king d4. Black goes king f6. King c4. King a6. King b4. King d6. And white takes the pawn on a4. The black king then goes king c7. White goes king b5. King b7. Finally, white pushes its pawn with a4. Black goes king a8. a5. Black goes king b8. a6. King a8. Now, the problem is the queening square is occupied by the king, and in the rook pawn, whenever an opponent's king occupies the queening square, a8 in this case, then it is a draw because king cannot support it, the queening square, as these squares are controlled by the king, and so it cannot enter into the position. Suppose if it tries with king b6, black can go king b8, a7 check, king a8, and now king has to support this pawn, so he can go king a6, but this is a stalemate as there is no check in the position and black cannot move as the pawn is supporting the b8 square and the king the b7 square, so this is a stalemate. So white can go king c7, but then black takes the pawn on a7 and this is a draw. So if black king reaches e8 or b8, then it is basically a draw. So now for white to win, we have to basically bring the black into a Zugzwang position. It is basically a position where every move is a losing move. So suppose your then one of the natural moves could be king to g6, stopping the king from escaping. But even if here it escapes, we can just go king h7 and then queen. But in order to execute Zugzwang, we can go king g6. Black then has to cannot move his king, so he has to move his pawn. So he can either go a6 or a5. Suppose he goes a6. If he go a3, then he can just play a5, and we have to play a4, and this is basically stalemate. If we tried some other move, then he can go a4, and in order to protect this pawn, we have to go king g6, which is again a stalemate. So if you want to force black into a zugzwang position, then we have to basically stop this pawn, there should be no pawn moves, and we can then go to f6 or h6 with the king and basically force black to get out from one of these other squares over here. So if you go a3, then this would be a draw because black can go a5, and we are the one that are playing the last move with the a4, that would result in a stalemate. Instead, we can start with a4, forcing black to play a5, and then we can just go king h3. So now this is not a stalemate because now king has the escaping square on f7, so king has to go f7, king f7. Then we can go king h7 and then promote our pawn. Black cannot stop it, and then we can easily win the game. We can also go king f6 over here. Black then goes king h7, king f7, king h6, and win the game. So this could be one idea. Here if black goes like a5, so we can go a3, because if you go a4 over here, then this is a stalemate. So we can go a3, black is forced to play a4, and then we can continue with the same king h6, king f7 ideas, and then king h7 we can promote to a queen. So yeah, the main idea here was to force black into zigzag position. We have to calculate the pawn moves and basically force him to play to escape from one of these squares and promote to we can then promote to queen. So yeah, this was it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.